Good morning. You are listening to UpReach. And he arose that night and took his 2 wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 sons, and crossed over the ford of Jabbok. He took them, sent them over the brook, and sent over what he had. Then Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the breaking of day. Now when he saw that he did not prevail against him, he touched the socket of his hip, and the socket of Jacob's hip was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, "Let me go, for the day breaks." But he said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." So he said to him, "What is your name?" He said, "Jacob." And he said, "Your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have struggled with God and with men, and have prevailed." Then Jacob asked, saying, "Tell me your name, I pray." And he said, "Why is it that you ask about my name?" And he blessed him there. So Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Just as he crossed over Penuel, the sun rose on him, and he limped on his hip. Genesis chapter 32, verses 22 through 31. Jacob is a man who is a controller. He connives and manipulates his way to get what he wants. It is a generational stronghold passed down through his mother, who encourages her son to play a trick on his father Isaac by pretending to be Esau. This trick leads Isaac to give the family blessing to Jacob, which means Jacob will eventually inherit the land God has promised to Abraham's seed. Jacob also learns control from his uncle Laban, who causes Jacob to work for 14 years to take Rachel as his lifelong mate. One must ask, which is uglier in God's sight, the self-centered nature and worldliness of Esau, or the control and manipulation of Jacob? Control is a problem for men and women alike. Many women seek to control their husbands. Many men seek to control their wives. Control is at the core of that which is opposite the cross, self-rule. What delivers us from this fleshly nature of control? A crisis. Jacob's crisis comes when he is faced with the prospect of meeting a brother who says he will kill him the next time he sees him. Esau has built his own clan and is about to meet Jacob and his clan in the middle of the desert. Jacob is fearful, so he retreats. There he meets a messenger from God who wrestles with him. Jacob clings to God and refuses to let go of this angel. It is the place where Jacob is given a painful but necessary spiritual heart transplant. From that point on, Jacob will walk with a limp, because God has to dislocate his hip in order to overcome Jacob's strong will. What about you today? Isn't it true that God often has to dislocate our hip through failure and disappointment? Sometimes it is the only way he can get our attention. Our nature to control and manipulate is so strong that it takes a catastrophic event to wake us up. Yet God does not reject Jacob for these character traits. In fact, God blesses him greatly because he sees something in Jacob that pleases him. He sees a humble and contrite heart beneath the cold and manipulative exterior of Jacob's life. And it is that trait that God needs to develop. He does this by bringing about the crisis in Jacob's life that leads to total consecration. This event is marked by Jacob getting a new name, Israel. For the first time, Jacob has a nature change, not just a habit change. What will God have to do in our lives to gain our complete consecration to his will and purposes? By the way, beware of the Christian leader who does not walk with a limp. This has been UpReach, a presentation of the Church Street Church of Christ in Lewisburg, Tennessee. I am Kyle Bolton, the pulpit minister at Church Street, and I would like to personally invite you to come and share times of Bible study and worship with us each week. We meet every Sunday at 9 o'clock a.m. for our morning worship, followed by our Sunday school for all ages at 10:15 a.m. Then we meet again at 6 o'clock p.m. for our evening worship. We also have a midweek meeting for devotion and Bible study on Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. I hope to see you there. Have a blessed day.
Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise him, all creatures.